Thank you. Thank you.
It's good to interview you. Finally, the person
Who is always behind
who's always behind it. One of the people always behind it.
It is weird to answer your questions. You know?
After this first whole year of the share chair, the new share chair, we started this year. It's the first year. It's like a baby.
Yes.
What is that like? What have you learned after an entire year of it?
I learned that creating is fun. That I like making things and building and doing things. Mm-hmm. It's just fun. My own brain is. I think I'm like. I don't know if I want to say smarter, but I'm better. I'm a better person from the things that I've made. Making this thing, the Share Chair podcast, it was just another example of that. Of wow, now I know more people. Now I know more technology. Now I'm learning to build a website. Now, because of this one thing, I've grown in multiple ways. Mm-hmm. So by building or constructing a thing, I learn a lot about me, about people, about technology, about every component it takes to make something. Then I'm really learning it.
Now that I think about it, you're really good at making things. You were the director of theater for a long time, and you had lots of really awesome. You did Willy Wonka, right?
I did.
That was the best.
Okay.
I remember that was the first one that I went to for Spring Lake. That was really good. And you also started the Stratford trip.
Yep.
You started that. You take theater kids every year to Stratford, Ontario in Canada, which is a blast. Mm-hmm. You do writing recitals for creative writing. You made a website textbook. Okay, I will stop there.
There's so many things
that you make, and then you, like you said, you learn so much from it, and you gain so much from it. And where did that start? Did someone teach you that, or did that happen in high school and college?
Immediate answer is it starts before you're even aware that it's starting, right? Mm-hmm. So I watched my parents. I couldn't have come up with this answer probably when I was 12 or 13, but now that I'm almost 40, I can go oh yeah. I mean, my dad and my mom, both, they built things. So my dad was one of the driving forces behind Camp Bluebird, which is a cancer retreat. My dad was one of the driving forces behind the People's Center. My dad was one of the driving forces behind the Little Red House. I saw him my whole life sort of building and constructing ideas. Mm-hmm. So they're not he wasn't, and he'd chuckle if this ends up in the interview, he was not putting the boards together. I did not learn anything in regards to putting boards together, manually building. So when I'm saying building, I'm saying thought. Yeah. He built an idea. My mom too. So my mom really likes to sketch, do art, kind of in her own sort of free time. And then that turns into even she'll make these towels that are designs, and that's it. They're just designs. Something she do. But then she'll sell them. She'll fundraise and give them to people for fundraisers. She'll sort of do all kinds of things with them. But there's a second answer to that, and it really is theater. I mean, theater is where I learned to build things, to be honest with you, build an idea. And that started when I guess I was a kid, but then really hit in high school and then college. And then all of a sudden in college I was responsible for a play, and then you're building all aspects of it. You're not just building a character, but you're building a set. You're building an idea. You're building also how do I promote this? How do I get this into people's hands? So all of a sudden in college, when I was building shows, you're building every aspect of it, and so that sort of solidified that, I guess.
When you were younger, you had an attempt at an acting career in, I think, New York. And then
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
So when I graduated, I didn't go far for college. When you start putting all the pieces back together, it's I don't think I was setting myself up. Now that I look back at it, I don't know that I was setting myself up for a New York City career before going, but I did go and had a great time and realized then that it wasn't for me. So I guess I will trace that back a little bit. So when I was at Hope College, I was just all about theater performance. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't have a minor. I didn't have a second major. I didn't have a minor. Was a theater major, period. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. I just always had the feeling that if I was going to, to get an education degree or something, that I would then be a teacher. Because it's just, it's hard to make a living as a theater major.
Yeah.
But I thought, I want to try it, and so that's what I'm going to do. So I went to New York as part of a internship program in college, and I would advise that to anybody who's listening. Like, do anything. Travel abroad, go do an internship program, whatever the case may be. And I worked at a theater as a stagehand at an off-Broadway theater, and it was awesome. It was so small and so small budget that they gave me a lot of jobs, a lot of opportunity. So nothing on stage, that's all union work. I couldn't do any of that. But it was awesome. I did anything they asked me to do. A fall term, I was in New York City, and then they'd asked me to stay on, and I was confronted with this, like, I only had one term left to have a college degree or stay on for no particular length, like just sort of a little while, I guess. And I just couldn't do it. I was like, I've worked this hard for a college degree. I gotta get my college degree.
You had to choose between like either dropping out of college like right before you graduated or staying in New York.
Yes, yes. And not doing what I really wanted to do, right? I really wanted to be on stage. And I loved the backstage work. I really did. But that's right. I had that choice to make, and I was like, I'm not ready. And then through 3 or 4 months while I was finishing up my degree, Nikki and I had talked, and we were just like, man, it's like, it's going to be a hard life if we just move to New York just cold. We just go. We don't have money or jobs lined up or anything.
Yeah.
Is that what we want to do? And we said, no, let's not. Let's see if I can get a master's degree in. I want some more training. That's what it came down to. We're in Cleveland now, and this was our first year of marriage, and that was hard just because of how much we were gone. She was working a job, and my theater, we were working in totally different schedules. We didn't see each other a lot in our first year of being married, and we were like, all of a sudden, everything was started going like, whoa, what do we want our life to look like? If we end up having a family, what do we want that to look like? And if you're a successful theater performer, you're working at night, 6 nights a week, you're gone, nights. And all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, I do kind of want to someday be a dad. And if I am a dad, I do want to be around. All of a sudden, my Midwestern values kicked in. So it ended up being a collective decision to bring us back to West Michigan, and that's where I got the education degree.
Ashley and I both know you're a very humble person, and this might make you uncomfortable, but it's true that you're such a good teacher. Everyone who I speak to really just enjoys your classes. How do you approach teaching overall?
It starts really with standards. So, like, what are the standards of which I need to hit, the Common Core curriculum standards. But then after that is trying to think of the classroom as an experience, right? Not as anything else, I guess. Not as a thing to get through. I don't think any teacher, by the way, sees classes, well, this is just something they have to get through. I think but I want an experience. And I know that doing it often ends up being more memorable than just like hearing. Let's actually write for a reason. And if you actually write for a reason, then it'll stick better. If we actually, it goes back to the beginning. If we build something, if you build something, if we build something, if a small group of students builds something, not only are you going to learn that thing, but you're going to learn lots of other things. Have a class around something that's purposeful and meaningful, that the reading and writing is not just for the reading and writing's sake, but another sake.
Where did that begin? The empathy that inspires the movement you started. You started the book club, the book. You can talk about that.
And the podcast. Yeah, started with my mom tucking me in and seeing and asking me questions about my day. that's when I started caring about empathy, that my parents would tell me, well, have you thought about that from his or her perspective?
Yeah.
Have you done, and then from reading To Kill a Mockingbird, but really when the actual I want to do something here at Spring Lake, when did that start? It started from reading a student's sacred writing. So she was talking about how these whispers, and she's an amazing girl, like tons of potential, but she was talking about how she was really affected by these whispered sort of things about the way that she looks in class, or but and it would be nothing that a teacher could hear. That's the problem. It was all sort of snuck in, and she said it affected her so much, it made her quiet, and all of a sudden I was like, holy cow, here's this girl with a ton of potential, and she can't realize it. She can't realize her potential. What a problem. I don't think we can ever get rid of cruelty, by the way, but I do believe if we stop making an effort that it'll get worse. So I started reading a few books on the topic, and then one that I really loved was Sticks and Stones by Emily Bazelon, and I read it, and it was amazing, and I thought it brought up a lot of interesting topics. And so I went on to the administration and said, hey, I've got this idea of this community book club. Are you in support of it? Is this something we want to do? And they said, yeah, and so we just moved on. That was because that's sort of where it was that's kind of how that happened.
There was that, and then you published a book.
Yeah, that was cool.
Empathy. That's an awesome book. Now it's the podcast.
And now it's the podcast.
Not the last installment by far. No. Knowing you, there's going to be other things that'll just make it even more amazing. We have to talk about 2 awards that you won. I don't know the total names.
2 awards. One is the Dr. Elizabeth Curtis Young Professional Award as the top young professional who's under 40. They were just got me in. I mean, I'm almost 40, and so they were just squeaking me in. But the top young professional under 40 in the community in the Tri-Cities area. So that was amazing. It was cool to be at that award presentation because there were just so many great people that were nominated or have been awarded. The 2016 National Council of Teachers of English High School Teacher of Excellence. So I just was given, this was shocking, I was just given the press release from NCTE, the National Council of Teachers of English, and I'm one of 10 nationally recognized
in the country?
In the whole country. First it feels like really, and then all of a sudden you start putting things together, and it doesn't make me better than, but you put things together and it's like, well, I've been working hard, so at least I'm one of many deserving people, but I do feel like I guess I'm one of those many deserving people, and so it feels amazing. I don't even know to say I don't know. It feels great. I feel thankful.
Give me some advice. Give me some advice.
That
can apply to everyone.
Make a difference. So yeah, make a difference. Push out. Make your work matter. Okay? And that can be in any way, but make your work matter. Yeah, make it important for you and for others.
For being on the Share Chair podcast, Mr. Theune.
Yeah,
yay!
fun.
Finally, we get to hear who's behind the voice.
Fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Share Chair. Stay tuned next week for a new episode.